Are you fit to win? Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Brandon Wheeler. I have this Army hat on because, yes, I was in the Army for about 3.5 years, and these are my videos detailing my time and experience in. I'm still in basic training, talking about it as far as these videos, I should say. I'm not in basic training, that was years ago. That period was from September to November, September of 2021. Why do I have a straw in my mouth? That is Army related because we'll get into it. Long story short, heat exhaustion thing happened. Can't talk right unless I'm biting down on something. Sounds like something that I got like a stutter thing going on. So for some reason, biting down on something helps me talk. So that's why the straw. So I'm just here talking about my time in the Army and everything. It's my Army story. It's a series I'm doing. It's been 2-3 weeks since I've talked anything. I think for some reason I filmed this portion already, but I didn't post the video or I lost it somehow, and because I thought I recorded something after July 4th, but I don't know. I hope you had a good 4th of July and everything like that, so now we're on to this. Going through my notes, because I wrote letters almost every single day when I was in basic training back in the day. For you knew the thing, I went to Fort Jackson and everything like that. During the height of COVID and all that. I said September 2021. It was 2020, not 2021. I don't know why I said 2021. It was September 2020 to November 2020. It was in September 2020 to February 2024. That's 3.5 years. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, I was originally just going to talk about the ACFT. What is the ACFT? You'll probably, if you're interested about going to the military, I highly recommend looking up these things because not knowing what it is, and that way you can prepare for it beforehand. That way you get this stuff like that. Like I have something right here as a visual aid to talk about it. But reading about my notes, because the day before the note thing that I was about to talk about, I talked about something else, which is what I consider one of the funnest days I had in basic training. You can have fun in basic training. Yes, you can. It was actually one of the funnest days I've had, and I can say that. It's called the Fit to Win course. According to the notes, well, let me read straight from the notes, and then I'll talk about it. By notes, I mean letter to my mom and everything. Oh yeah, by the way, I talked about money stuff. Save your money that they're giving you and everything. This is another reason why, because the way, the cadence of they give you $100 and take back 99 and stuff. Here. First off, found out the Army today is giving me an advance of $1,000. Oh, cool, to buy my plane ticket. Go back for Christmas break and all that. To AIT or whatever, whatever it was, I'll have to pay it back. Yes. So if Army's going to do nothing, I pay for it with a ticket, then put all that in my savings, or just basically whatever money you get during the time of basic training, put it away in savings. Literally, tell whoever it is, your parents, your brother, sister, your spouse, everything you can, if you can, put it in savings, because your next paycheck is like, why do I only get like $100 or $50? Yeah, they took that advance back. Why? This is what they do. I don't know if they still do that, but I'm pretty sure this is what they did to us. So yeah. Today wasn't the 60-foot whatever Jacob's Tower thing. That was a different day, but we never even get to do that because seemingly it was broken. And I know they were very curious to see if I would go after that. Go look at my last video about the Victory Tower. That was the biggest event thing that ever happened in my life up until that point. Or my highlight of basic training. But like I said in this letter here, it was the funnest day here. I crawled through some tunnels, went over some small walls, climbed a rope tower, crawled through dirt. Exhausting but fun. I couldn't do the monkey bars, so I did push-ups. I had no arm strafe to do. My left arm is dead feeling. My legs and feet hurt, and I'm tired. After the top 6 from each platoon completed to see who was the fastest, the platoon finished last, but the others all cheated. It said they cheated. They used our lanes, and the girls only had 4 compete, not 6. So girl sergeant competed with the 6, so he could call on the others. We did everything together with integrity. No, I didn't compete with the 6. Plus, we had the least time to recover. Afterwards was same team, some team logic puzzles across bridge stuff, basically, and at the end went well. The third puzzle I think I had the way to do it, but the loud people took over, so I wasn't listening to it, even though I tried. We had to walk there, took a mile, I think, and mile back. Yeah, I know places like in AIT, you get the buses and everything, take you in places and everything, and even in basic, you do the shooting range and stuff like that. But some places, yeah, in the morning you're just walking and walking back. So yeah, we have a pre-ACFT first or two before the real one, and at the end of the cycle, we get to wake up at 3:30. So I'm trying to get some sleep early, but I got Firewatch to stay up to do, so less sleep tonight. Oh yes, Firewatch. Yeah, you'll learn about Firewatch, especially if you have a big event the day before. You still gotta do Firewatch, and if it's your turn, it sucks. And you can't go to sleep early before sleep time. It's like, oh, let me just sleep a couple hours if I got extra time. Nope, can't sleep in bed. Try sleeping on the floor if you can. Maybe if you could do that, but can't sleep on the bed before lights out. That's how it is. Can't. Well, let me know. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so the Fit to Win course, like I said, read from the letter in more detail. It was probably the funnest day. We all get there, walk there, and everything. Of course, we have our canteen bags hot and stuff. But it's like, oh, it's a bunch of obstacle course and everything. We loosen um, our they call them bosses and everything. Your military tops, you loosen them a little bit. That way, you're at the bottom and everything, because you tuck them into your boots, so you have to untuck them out of your boots or whatever like that. I don't, because one thing, it keeps you cool, and the other reason is that because you're going to be doing a lot. Yeah, we're running through like these tunnels or going over these little wall things and stuff, which took a lot to do. You're doing some balancing stuff. I There's this, by rope tower, I mean it's like a little wall. You're climbing like the wall kind of up a rope, and then you have to kind of fall over on the other side, crawling through this tunnel type thing. It is exhausting, but it was fun. It was fun. It was probably like one of the funnest things to do and everything. The competition we had at the end, yeah, there was the contest at the end, and it was Drill Sergeant Donahue that was with our group, because this is still when I was part of the second platoon that was doing anything. I said they cheated, and I think it's because they were supposed to do on one lane stuff, and they like jumped into one of our lanes to get ahead. I guess that kind of prevented us or something. I don't know what all the things was they cheated, but yeah, we did our thing in integrity. So we was like, oh, they cheated? Well, we didn't cheat. Yeah, they won. But I was like, The girls' platoon, they only used a couple and everything and stuff. But again, they chose the best, the people who were the most fittest and everything that could do it and all that. No way I'd be chosen. I think one group chose Bond and Bond was the name of the guy who was the former Marine who has actually been on deployments and everything like that. Why he went from the Marines to Army when he had already established career thing, I don't know. I mean, he had, again, former military members and stuff, they kind of get their own room. They had a little bit of special rules and stuff. And you talk about the drill sergeants and everything, because they basically have the same, he's been along as them in some ways and stuff, but he was one of the fitter guys and stuff. I don't know if he did the contest stuff, but I remember seeing and talking with him a little bit and stuff. And he was a fit guy and everything, but he was tired. All of us were tired. But yeah, the young guys and stuff. But Drill Sergeant Donahue, the drill sergeant, going and actually doing what he said, putting, his part on, it's like, it's just you trainees going out there. No, and Drill Sergeant Donahue, he was, 40 something? 41. He's like, I didn't age up to 42. I leveled up. And he's always kind of hyping up and everything. He looks like a friend of mine that I have and stuff. And that's how I kind of remember him. But Drill Sergeant Donahue, probably, a lot of times he'd be considered a lot of people's favorite during basic. There's always a couple of drill sergeants was like he was favorite and everything. Drill Sergeant Donahue would be one of the ones that we had that people would consider one of their favorites, because he was just kind of amped up and always there and things like that. But yeah, Fit to Win course afterwards, they had these logic puzzle things, and I remember you had different puzzles. They switch you out in different stations, like every maybe hour or so. And it's like you have like different beams, and you have stuff, and you have to kind of get the beam or whatever it is, the bag, the bodies or whatever it is. You have to get them from point A to point B, something like that. So you're trying to crawl around and move around and do all these different things and stuff, and you have to kind of work together. It's like, okay, you got to puzzle it out and everything like here. And yeah, and even though some of us had good ideas, it wasn't just me, even though I mentioned it, but even though some of us had good ideas, like, hey, do this and stuff, but people who had, more assertive personalities or louder or trying to say what to do and everything, so we just kind of sat back and we're like, okay, do that. And sure enough, it would fail. And we're just like, okay. But I remember it was actually pretty, interesting to try to do the logic kind of puzzle thing. It's basically teamwork, trying to get it to work and everything. Because I remember one day you have like this, I think it's like a mannequin, like a body in a stretcher, and you're trying to transport it around and stuff when you're trying to go up. It's kind of interesting or whatever what it was, but did we actually complete all of them? No, we were close, but no, we didn't actually get any of them done, I don't think offhand. But again, teamwork and actually taking everyone's ideas in consideration is what would be useful. So be that person's like, hey, we can all work together, try to do stuff, but if people, you're going to see people take over and they're just going to like, so you just have to shut up and let them do it. And I was like, all right, okay, do you. Yes. Now the ACFT, getting into that. It is the Army Combat Physical Test or Aptitude Test, or whatever it is. All of them take it or whatever like that. But there might have some variations, I think, with all of them. But I know all branches do it. It's a little bit, probably, I think, a little bit different now. From what I know, I don't know what's been updated. Look it up for all the updates. But at the time in Basic, it was 6 events, and they changed one event to be something else later on when I was in. Not while I'm in Basic, but later on. The 6 events, I will go in order. First event was a deadlift on a hex bar, and you have to kind of lift a certain amount and everything. The minimum that you have to do, at least, is 140. You have to deadlift the hex bar 3 times. And you have to, when you lift it up, you have to make sure it touches the ground at the same time. You can't, like, left side only touches or the right side doesn't touch. You have to touch both sides at the same time, or else that will not count. You have to do it 3 times, 140. Now, actually, 140 is not a lot. To me, it was because I'm not used to lifting weights and everything, but it was still easier, maybe to me, than, again, if you're a girl going in the Army, 140 pounds is what some of these girls weighed, or even less, way less. Some of them, if they're 100, 110 pounds or something like that, they're basically lifting their body weight and more at just 140. That's what I mean, is like why physical fitness is really big and trying to lift that up and everything like that. Because that's, so for 140, if that's equivalent of me picking up one of these girls or anything like that, they're basically lifting up themselves. It takes a lot to do. So, but I did the minimum 140 because seemingly my arm was really hurting real bad. I could do more, but my arm hurts from yesterday. Second event is throwing a 10-pound medicine ball over a head. This is my visual aid. The 10-pound medicine ball. Some of you who are not very physical or anything have never seen this before up until this point, and I know I didn't. But again, reading about the ACFT beforehand, because I was that type of person, I did in fact read about the ACFT beforehand. So what I did was practice that. I bought my own medicine ball. This is the exact same one that I bought, and I tried doing that. You have to throw it a certain amount of feet. Now at the time, I don't know if it's different now, but at the time, well, in Basic it was it was like kind of like the same kind of stand for everyone for certain things except for your age or whatever like that. But for your MOS that you at the time that you would go in for, it might be the same way now, but for your MOS, you had to be able to do more or less depending on your thing. Like a 42 alpha paper pusher may not have to throw the ball as far as like an 88 mic had to. Like maybe they had to make sure the minimum they had to throw was like 4 meters. Me, I had to be like 6 or 8 meters or something like that. So I had to make sure I was doing that. So I'm just going to kind of spoil now. But the first 2, like, these practice ACFT things and stuff, I was able to throw this no problem, seemingly. Like I even say it here. I passed with 6 meters or 18 feet. I want to do more, though. And here's the thing. From that point on, it was like, oh, this is so easy. Just toss the ball behind you. Like, or some people were just literally yeeting it because, seriously, people going, yeet! You think I'm joking, but there will be literally people going, yeet! Or yell or whatever to get the ball thrown or something, and it does help them. But from that point on, for some reason, after that second attempt, the second ACFT thing, I kept struggling to throw this ball. For some reason, I think, because I was thinking about it earlier when I read the letters, like, why did I, like, throughout the military, like, I kept struggling throwing the ball past the 6 feet mark. I'm like, why? Was it because my arms were jacked up or hurting from all the stuff? Or I think it was more likely me getting into my own head and not realizing what I was doing wrong compared to everything else. Like I'm serious. Like you can get into your own head and screw yourself up, and I think that's what was happening with me for a long time. It's like because it's like I did this in basic. Why am I not passing the ball throw? And that's why. It was just getting in my own head. But I would recommend getting as far as how much the medicine ball is for everyone across the board, 10 pounds. You don't get a 5, you don't get an 8, you get 10. Oh, 10's not that much. Well, when you start lifting it all the time, it starts getting things. You go to the gym, you could do like 20. I think I've seen a 25 or more. I know there's 15 and there's 20s. I think there's more than that, at least at the gym I go to, Crunch. But you basically want to mess around with the medicine ball before. You may not be able to throw it like in the gym or anything like that, but if you buy your own and you measure it out and you try throwing stuff, you can look up videos of how to do like stuff and everything online, so that's okay. Now, the next event after that was called T push-ups. Put this ball and throw it. Basically, you're doing the push-up thing, but you're not doing a normal push-up. You're pushing yourself up, you're going down, then your arms have to fully extend out, come back in, push, come back. You're basically, doing a T push-up. That's why they call them T push-ups. At this time, I did 17. 17. I think by the end of the army thing, I got up to like 30 something. 30s isn't that much. For me, it is, considering also how tired I was and everything probably beforehand doing all that. Tiredness is a constant thing in basic, just so you know. All right, next was the sprint drag carry. Now, this event, as far as any events in the Acft, going across the board, this is the worst one. This is the one that hurts the most, is the sprint drag carry. First, you sprint down to the line and back. Then you drag this 90 pounds of weight on a sled. You have to drag it all the way the same distance and drag it all the way back. It sounds easy, but your legs turn to jello doing it. Seriously, look it up. It doesn't matter how strong or how powerful you are with your legs and stuff. This is why they say don't skip leg day, because this is where it gets into it. And it doesn't even burn necessarily while doing it offhand per se, but right after, when you get down, then you have to lateral step and back. When lateral step, just think of a lemur. That's how I think of it, as like lemur jumps. You're like lemur jumping all the way. You're jumping from the side all the way down. I'll show you what the lateral is. You go that way down, and you have to do the exact same way, like same side back. Like you can't turn around. You have to go the exact same way back. That's what hurts. Doing the sprint the drag portion, and then that right afterwards, it hurts a lot. And then once you get back, you have to carry these 45-pound cowbells all the way back, 2 of them. Your fireman carrying them, all the way down, and you have to carry them all the way back. You have to set them down. Don't throw them. You have to set them down. Then you got to run back and forth, So I did it in 3 minutes because the drag portion wrecked me. I think I could do it. I think the most I ever did the sprint drag carry is like 215, 210. I know in the 220s for sure, but I think I got it to like 215 by the end of everything. I think. I know 220s, 230s for sure. I can't remember offhand. But I know I could do it did it less than 3 minutes by the end of it. 5th event. Now this is what changed for me in my time in the Army. 5th event was the leg tuck. I could never do a leg tuck. You had the leg tuck, and if you couldn't do one leg tuck, then you could do the flex arm hang, which still was hard to do because getting on a bar and everything like that, I couldn't do. Leg tuck, you let's move the ball. You're getting your knees all the way inside to like your gut or whatever like that. I could never do it. And it's not just my thing. It's like, oh, because you're a big guy, you can never do it. There were dudes with abs, who were physically fit and everything, could not do one leg tuck. But there were skinny dudes and girls, who were not the most physical, could do a leg tuck easy. In fact, they could do several. Okay, but and seemingly it was such a big deal because a lot of the girls would fail the leg tuck, mostly girls and a lot of high up, I guess, military people and stuff. Like one of the female drill sergeants I heard from someone saying, they heard her saying like it was almost basically discriminatory in some ways what the leg tuck was, and I'm like, I don't know about discriminatory, but so what they changed it to was to be a I know a lot of people um, hate it, is the oh, what's it called? You have to basically, what's it called? Dang it. What is the thing called? Um, what are the events of the ACFT? FT. Plank. That's what it is. It's called a plank. The For some reason I could not. I was thinking of it all this day, and then for some reason I blacked out. Yeah, they. It wasn't that way in basic or in AIT, but I think when I was in Korea they switched it to the plank, which I know a lot of people hate. That there's some people who are like, I'd rather just do one single leg tuck than I would do a plank, because a plank you have to hold for like 2 minutes and everything like that. And that I could do. I could hold it for 2.5 minutes, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I think most I ever did was like 2.5 minutes, I think. But predominantly, a lot of times people just do the minimum. The max out's like 3 something minutes, and who wants to do a plank for that? The record for planking is like almost a day worth of hours. Some guy has a record for that, the core strength and that. But that's why a lot of people hate the plank, because singular leg tuck, get up, over with, done, versus 2 minutes of misery. And then you have the 2 mile run, which was self-explanatory. It's a 2 mile run. Sorry, my brother got home. I got tea. He's just telling me about his day and everything. All right, but 2 mile run. The 2 mile run is a self-explanatory 2 mile run. You're timed and everything like that. Normally, you're doing it on a track and basic. There's one track where you have to do, depending on the size of it, you can do it in 6. So basically, 3 laps is like a mile. So you're doing it in 6 laps. There was another track later on where you had 8 laps because of the way the track was and everything like that, because like quarter mile or something like that. But those are the two different type things. But you basically have to do 2 miles in, I think the record is 22 minutes, 21 minutes. It, again, basic, I think it's a set time, but in later on in your actual military thing, it changes because of your, well, age, if you're male or female, and stuff like that. If you're older, I think you have a little bit of advantage. You have a little bit extra time, whereas the younger, nope, you're screwed. You have a lot less time. Like if I had 22 minutes, if you're like 18, 19 or something, you had like 20 minutes or something. Like, oh, that's a good advantage. But if I was older, I had to do things like I think the lifts, I had to be more for minimum compared to somebody else, I think. And when I went in at the time, I was 28. So, yeah, there was that. All right. What else did I say? Again, this is the last one counts. And the fact that I did it in 19 minutes and 38 seconds is impressive to me, because after basic, I don't think I've ever hit that kind of thing again. I've always done like 20, 21 minutes. For whatever reason, I never was able to get down to that section again. But, oh well. So I'm only disappointed with the leg tuck and spring drag carry. Yeah, I get disappointed in that leg tuck. You will never do one, Brandon. Also, today we had some combat medical training. That was something later on that happened in the day. I learned on some basics and stuff. That was kind of fun as well. Learning how to apply a bandage and a tourniquet. They will talk often about tourniquet stuff. Basically, tourniquet, you got to get it high up on the wound as possible, like if it's an arm injury or whatever, because you're trying to stop it from bleeding out, and you got to apply that thing tight. Everything. You'll keep one on you, along with a bandage or something at all times, I think, during basic. Well, not in the, but in the field. There's something about it. But you get used to tourniquet stuff and things all the time. I talk about it often. Tourniquets are very important. Do, in fact, learn it. The medical stuff, do, in fact, learns. Again, one of those lessons during the thing I actually remember is like, oh, that's actually very good to learn and everything. So, and that's a lot to talk about and everything, but that's just these two. It's 2 days condensed into one video, but you know what? That's enough information for it. So if you want to look up the Fit to Win course, go ahead, look up the Fit to Win course. And if you want to look up all the ACFT stuff, look at that. If you're former military looking at this, what was your best ACFT scores in basic? If you even remember it. Some of you have been... I met a guy, he came into my... Because I work at the gas station and stuff currently. He came in, he was a lieutenant colonel, I guess it's National Guard weekend or something like. He's been in 40 years. I was like, 40 years? Almost 40 years. He said he's got like 2.5 years left, and then he'd be at 40. Like, 40 years? I'm like, gosh, a lot of people get out like, 22, 25. 40? Goodness. And he said he went in as enlisted, and it was like, wow. So, I wonder how much stuff he's done. Goodness. So, that's just a little bit of this Military Monday type thing. I'm trying to do this every Monday, or at least when I do these will come out on Mondays for this series set, talking about my time in the Army and everything like that. Again, this is just covering my time at Fort Jackson at the moment. This is still red phase, from what I can remember, going into it. We'll soon get into white phase and blue phase and all that jazz. But I hope you enjoyed this video and everything like that. Advice for all former military people, anything who wants to tell anyone watching about things to know about basic and everything like that, go ahead, let them know. And list where you were. If you were at Jackson during September 20 through November 20, what unit were you part of and everything, because we were there around the same time. Because basic, even though you have your group going through, there's other groups going through different ones at the same time, mind you. So were you there and everything? Because that'd be interesting. All right, well, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one whenever I do one of these again. See you in the next one. Goodbye.